Alrighty, if everybody wants to grab a seat, we're going to get started just a little bit early. I'm Ashley Bryan. I'm the Director of Programming here at Launch Fishers. And we are really happy to have Pete Van Overwalle with us today to help us work through this innovation workshop. So I'm not going to spend a bunch of your time introducing him, because he can introduce himself and tell you a little bit about what we're going to do today. But I did want to say thank you all for coming. We have launch events the last Friday of every month. And next month, we're going to be doing a really interesting multi-generational workshop with Schaefer Academy. So that should be super interesting. End of March, I believe it's the 29th of March?
Last Friday.
It's the last Friday of March, yeah. So if you have any questions, please talk to Jeff. Jeff, can you raise your hand? Yeah, there we go. He would love to tell you more about what we're going to do next month. But right now, let's focus on what Pete's going to take us through. Pete?
Well, good morning. Thank you. Thank you, Ashley. Who is here at Launch Fishers for the first time? Anyone? Cool. Yes. Mission accomplished. So it was about 2 years ago. I'm hanging out with Matt Nettleton. Him and our sons played soccer together a long time ago. Now they're big boys. They could probably take us both. Maybe not Matt. He's bigger than me. But we're chatting, and then he says, hey, Pete, have you met Ashley yet? It's like, no, I haven't. So we shook hands. You know, in this little town called Fishers, community center, a place called Launch Fishers. We kind of know what it is. And then she said, well, I'm here to help us grow and support organizations economically, professionally, personally. I said, well, that sounds pretty ambitious. How are you going to do that? And then that conversation just opened up to where it is today. And I just said, Ashley, how cool it is. 2 years ago we met, and now we're doing something like this. And so I say that because I'm here today to help you grow, to help make a difference. When I put my LinkedIn profile, I refreshed it a couple years ago, I thought carefully, what's that first words I want to put? And it's community builder. So I'll show up today as a community member, as a member of Launch Fishers. I've lived here for 25 plus years, love the Midwest. I escaped New Jersey without an accent or an attitude, and I'm proud of that.
Hey.
But right, what exit you live off of?
Yeah, exactly.
But today really was about yourselves. So I'm glad that you came here today. I did send you some homework. Sorry for that, but I always find the more we can frame our perspectives and our mindset about that which is, I'm sure, very relevant for you. So first of all, congratulations, because you chose to put your time here today, not something else. I know you're busy people, but it is a Friday. Tend to find psychologically Fridays tend to be more open spaces for us to think about taking care of ourselves after you've served everybody else the rest of the week. It's going to be 64 degrees today. That's even better. And there we are. Okay, so beyond product, I want to start off with a story. My career started off in hospitality, loved it, moved 5 times in 7 years, opening up hotels, fun, vibrant, scaling sales teams. File cabinets were empty when we had file cabinets back then. So definitely I had this notion of wanting to create something with peoples and teams around something that was meaningful. Got kind of tired of that intellectually, so I was thinking about going back to get my master's degree. And then Starwood Hotels was rolling out Six Sigma. So I thought, well, that sounds kind of interesting. So I'm a geek for models. Yes, I love models. I love bell curves and charts and things like that. And so I took a risk, gave up the security of my chair, and became a Six Sigma black belt. And I loved it, absolutely loved it. Chasing a problem somebody cares about, working with people in a way that's innovative, creative, yes, brainstorming, but tied to a structure, and then driving change. So did that for a couple of years, and then it was literally a friend of mine through church says, Pete, Roche Diagnostics is hiring black belts. Isn't that what you do? The answer was yes. And so that skill set directly transferred over, and now all of a sudden I'm plopped in the middle of life sciences. Surrounded by a lot of smart people, a lot of ambition. Innovation is critical, tied to science. But now as a black belt, playing in that organization where there is opportunities everywhere to make things better. So what I'm telling you here is kind of how I got to love this topic of innovation. I am not an expert by any means, because this story plays out thousands and thousands of times in many ways, in small ways and in big ways. But it is something that is very learnable. And today is about you getting a glimpse of what that looks like. all right, through a hands-on experience. It will not be death by PowerPoint. Ashley, thank you for helping us start a little early. I know we'll use the time well. If some of you have to go, as you've mentioned, that's okay too. Do what you need to do. So the highlight of this story is left Roche to join a global company called Thermo Fisher Scientific, and I was the third employee of a startup business unit in a $20 billion organization. Pretty nice, comfortable place to be. Right? But we were about to launch technology that sat only in the research space, that was doing good things, but it wasn't in hospitals where patients could be served because it was too complicated. And this startup business unit had a pathway and funding to bring novel technology through the FDA clearance process and get it in the hands of a laboratory tech that could push a button, walk away, and higher quality, more accurate results would come out. Right? There was a strong and clear need, be it the economics of healthcare, certain types of disease states that were being misdiagnosed that could have made a difference for my mom or my sister, for example. These things really mattered. And we didn't have a product to sell, so we had a lot of time in our hands. And I remember the day when my boss brought us together. It was a global team, so people coming from different countries and different cultures, and we're hunkered up in this suite outside in San Diego overlooking the marina, beautiful for inspiration. He says, okay, Pete, we're gonna play a game. I said, okay, team, we're gonna play a game. So he got us in the right mindset space, and then he pulled out all these innovation cards. He laid them out on the table. And he said, all right, we have a chance to create this organization that scaled to be a couple hundred people. I think there were 5 of us in that room at that time. It's like, we get to make decisions on what we want to innovate on. I'm like, wow, how many cards do we have? Well, there's 111 cards. I said, that's too many, and I like to push it. And so what ensued was this vibrant, rich afternoon that went by in a second of ideating, exploring, challenging, to get to what I think was like 5 or 6 things that we thought really were inspirational, meaningful, that we wanted to then commit to that could help drive our business forward. So it's funny when you look back how you see things in a certain way. That was an experience as I stepped out of corporate life. We launched the global product. It was wonderful, huge celebration. I was worn out. I mean, I was in Europe and Asia for 8 years straight, missed a lot of family time. I decided to slow down. And that's where I decided to invest in myself, to do what I'm passionate about in my community. Hence, I'm here as a consultant, a trainer, a coach, centered around innovation, change leadership. But I really geek out on adaptability as a critical meta skill that we see every single day, be it climate, politics, society, business, personal lives, as something that can make a difference in what we do. So it was really cool to connect those dots and say, let's do innovation. So you're here today. And I'm going to welcome you to self-reflect a little bit. So, all right, so innovation mostly fails. That's the sad reality. Doesn't mean it's not good, doesn't mean it's not worthwhile, it fails. And there's reasons why that. Doesn't need to, and you shouldn't let it, right? How many of you would consider yourself a subject matter expert in innovation? And I'd love it if someone thinks, good, wonderful. Please share with us your insights and tips.
So it helps if you're adult onset ADHD.
Okay.
Because my last job, full-time job, was go find really cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And people would come with me, and people on my team would come with me, and they say, "How did you come up with that?" I don't know.
Yeah.
But I could, for whatever reason, I could see a drug and a pathway and come up with 37 different ways to do it.
Yeah. Love it. So it's a fascinating question to say, are you born with this? And I respect DNA. It certainly controls what I do, whether I like it or not. There is this nature, how we were born, and there's nurture, how we grew up and how we changed and evolved over life. And it's a little bit of both. But what I want to do is dispel this myth that you have to be just creative in order to be innovative. If you can look at something and you can distance yourselves from it and look at it objectively and start writing down observations, get it into facts and data, and then begin to draw some insights from what you're seeing and what you're hearing, that's the secret sauce. So it brings in all the senses, little heart, little mind, little gut, little intuition, maybe a little bit of good luck, but you shouldn't let it. So you're here. Now, I want to get a little poll in the audience. How many of you are here what I'll call the traditional corporate setting, either a profit or not-for-profit, but you got a steady job, you know what to do, you're tied to a large goal. If that describes your environment, please raise your hand. Okay, a few of you. How about if you're a solopreneur, you're scaling your own business, you're a consultant, doing your own gig, your own thing. Okay, there's a few more. And who did I miss? What scenario did I miss? Something in between. Matt, Jaws.
Launch Accelerator for Biosciences at Indiana University, so we sit at the intersection of private sector and academia to support innovation, development, and commercialization.
Love it. A hub gig. Great. Okay, I think we've covered it all. Oh, how about you?
Also toss in professor.
Okay, good. Yeah. Love it. And moms and dads and brothers and sisters, we're all that as well. So good. All right. So we're kicking off. I'm going to set the baseline of the 10 types of innovation. There's deep, deep work here. It goes back to Dublin, an organization that really commercialized this approach. It's tied to innovation theory. It goes back to the 1970s, so it wasn't cooked certainly in my garage or someone else's garage. It's out there. Deloitte Digital, Deloitte Consulting is really the driver that brought this into mainstream corporations, and they got a high-end, consulting service where they can go 10 miles deep. I have the book, I have the cards, I'm a geek, I love it. These are publicly available resources. So what I'm here is just to give you a taste. And if this inspires you, my hope is you walk out of here, if you're a subject matter expert, validating is something you know is true, but you've forgotten about, you want to bring back in your repertoire, giving you a new idea or a nudge that just helps you look at things differently, and best if you begin to try something differently. Okay? Then we're gonna, through that process, we're gonna start the application now. There are handouts on your table. If you haven't seen the workbook, feel free to grab one. Looks like this. And I think if you have some extras, I wanna get a couple copies to this gentleman up front here. There you go, guys, and grab your Launch Fisher's pen or pen of choice. Then we're gonna apply. And you'll have a chance to put your nose and eyes into the model. I'll explain it in a little bit more detail then, but really begin to pressure test the opportunity or challenge that you brought into this. Do you need more? Anyone not get one?
We have a couple extras.
Okay. So you're gonna have the ability to walk out of here with between 1 and 3 innovative tactics that you can actually begin to think about over the weekend if you're a work thinker person while you're walking a dog or doing what you're doing, and begin to put in practice on Monday. Okay, that's the opportunity. About me, I think I've covered that enough. We'll skip through it. All right, so I sent you an email and asked you to please think about these 3 things, or these several things. So hopefully they're top of mind. I'm gonna give you a minute to rethink it. If it's fresh to you, if you didn't get my email, that's okay. You wanna think about it. And even better, when you think something is one thing, when you speak it is another, but when you write it down, the connection that happens in your brain is significantly stronger. So I'm going to invite you, if you're comfortable, to jot down what you've already thought about or what you're thinking about now to answer any of these questions in the top part of your worksheet. And then we're going to find a way to level set our group, and we'll continue to dive right in. Little tip, try to rate your ambition between 0, you're dead, and 10. Put a number to it, 0 and 10. All right. Would love if one, maybe two people, help me out on time here. If you're willing to say yes to this, just be as succinct as you can, because it's easy to get passionate about this. But who would like to briefly share some of the themes and highlights on the questions that you've just reflected on here? Anyone? Susan? Okay.
It's
Yeah.
pretty good here. So I created a program a couple years ago with innovation of something I've known forever, project management. But getting companies to invest in making themselves better in this area and during an economy that people are questioning is the big challenge that I have.
Okay. What's your ambition number?
Oh, 10.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, shocking.
Should I put 11 on there for you?
But it's easy when you're passionate about it. However, you can be as passionate as you want, but in the economy, people are like, I'm
Yeah.
just trying to stay alive.
Agreed.
They're not going to invest in things like that.
Great. All right, wonderful, thank you. How about someone in the kind of what I call the corporate space? Yes.
So I just had a merger in my company. So we're merging companies together. The company we were merging with is very data-driven, very forward-thinking, which is incredible, and I'm really excited about it. My current company that has been merged into, they are a little stuck in their ways. So that's my big challenge right now, is dealing with getting the alignment, getting my team to think more future thinking and kind of like where we're heading growth wise, and how we can change our practices to get there, and just make more impact, because we're really not making the impact we want to right now.
Okay. Your ambition?
10.
Okay, love it.
I'm really just ready for this merger to kind of be a little more settled.
Is everyone here at a number of 5 or more in ambition? Okay, I'm not surprised. Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, what you described as culture and environment. You know, we can be as healthy as we want. We live in a city where there's smog and a factory right next to you. You will get lung issues, right? I mean, it's the air you breathe. And that's a whole nother topic, a whole nother thing. But I appreciate your ambition, and keep going. All right, so simply stated, innovation is the creation of a viable new offering. You're not inventing something. This isn't about when Thomas Edison, he celebrated every time he took one of the elements that failed. He celebrated not because he didn't get the electricity figured out, he knew it wasn't that element. Right? So you're not inventing. Innovation is broader than that. It's a system, it's a process, it's some of the things that I've already alluded to. Definition of an innovation is that it just can't be a good idea that you're excited about. It has to be in the market, in your organization, that the customer can experience, that says, yeah, this is something I'm willing to pay for. I'm an idea guy. I have more ideas than my body can actually implement, and I get joy and dopamine from these cool ideas. But until it's actually creating value, your job hasn't really been done in that context. I love this third line. Very little is truly new in innovation. Every living thing comes from another living thing in life. Ideas are the same way. It may be new to you, it may be new to your industry, but the coolest part about innovation is you just open your eyes in new ways. You can see what's being done in other industries, other contexts, other markets, and say, hey, let me adopt that. It's called best practice sharing. It's legal. You can do it. You have no limitations on how inspirational you can be. I was fascinated to know that Henry Ford, as he had this ambition to establish the automobile and had early prototypes and early models, he knew he needed to scale an assembly line. Manufacturing in the automotive space, because he was the first guy to do it, wasn't there yet. So the story goes, he was somewhere getting a tour of a meat packing plant, and he saw people, an assembly line processing large pieces of meat, and he said, well, wait a minute, why can't we do that with cars? It's as simple as that. Okay? So open your eyes and look around, because it's all around us, and think beyond products. I think that's obvious. You're here, and that's what we're going to really talk about in specifics. So innovating requires identifying the problems that matter and moving through them systematically to deliver elegant solutions. I happen to be heading down to 16 Tech this afternoon. There'll be 200 college students coming in from 3 different states for a design thinking workshop. So for me, it's a great day for innovation. And the key message there is the idea that you have is not the coolest thing in the room. The coolest thing in the room is the problem you're trying to solve and how well you understand it. right? So it's the context of what we're really trying to get accomplished. And in this whole design thinking space is just deep and real empathy for the pain and the challenge that people are experiencing that you feel passionately about caring about. And when you understand that, when you fall in love with the pain and the problem, then the innovation just happens to be the thing that you do, whether it's capital investment, partnership, new product development, modification of a service model, launch of a new channel to promote your consulting business. All that becomes just the means to get that problem solved. All right, it's also a team sport. It's a capability. Hopefully you're going to stretch that innovation muscle a little bit today, and it's how the game is won. So the question I'll ask you, and Lucy, you and I talked about this briefly this morning. She's heading up strategy for her organization. She's got a team, and I'm so pleased to hear that, because the question I often ask business owners and business leaders is like, well, who's responsible for innovation? The big companies have a chief innovation officer or something like that, but we're not all big companies. So whose job is it really? Who feels the responsibility to drive innovation in the organization that you're in or what you do? Okay, a couple people. Who'd like to feel more in charge and capable of driving innovation in what you do? Couple, all right. But here's the question, if it's not you, it's probably not anybody else. So just reflect on that a little bit. All right, so intro to the 10 types of innovation. Anyone familiar with this model to any degree? Heard about it? No? Okay, great. Love it. Love it. My goal is to keep it simple. So it really, again, it's rooted in science. It's a practical framework to spot growth opportunities beyond just the products, showing where you can create value across your business model. So let me just be fair, we're not talking about human people performance. I care a lot about that. A lot of my talent development is about helping to get the best out of people, resolving conflicts, soft skills. This is about your business model, right? It's not talking about culture. Those things are important, but we're going to put them off to the side. And it does bring into scope your customers, because that's where the pain is that you're looking to create value for, that you can charge to grow your business. And so it helps you go from, hey, we have new ideas. I don't know if any of you have a colleague who went on a long trip and they listened to a podcast or an audiobook, or everyone gets a book Monday morning. I had a great idea. This is the new thing. This is what we're going to do. I respect that. That's cool. And good things can come from that. But the framework here is more systemic and much more disciplined, and how you can act on innovation options. Does it feel a little overwhelming? There's 111 ways to innovate your business as per the model. I was reminded of that when I had to ask my wife to go out and buy 11 by 17 pieces of paper to be able to get all the tactics onto one sheet. It's a lot. And that may feel a little overwhelming, but again, this is not a deep dive. I guarantee you there will be several things on that chart, and when we get there, we'll go right deep into it, that you'll find a couple ideas that just pop. And today is like driving in a parking lot. It's safe, it's practice, there's no harm here. You'll get enough of a taste of what this looks like, and if you're so motivated, you can further walk down this path to identify the things you really want to invest in. All right, so at the end of the day, it's put in these three categories. You see the inner circle down below. It's about the offering, a couple, product performance, product system, we'll call them out as we go through. Then there's the configuration, so how these things are put together. If it's part A plus B, how they're configured makes it a lot more viable and rich. And then of course there's the customer experience, that thing living in the hands of your customer that makes the difference. So at high level, that's what it looks like. But before we can begin to assess where you are and where you need to be, this whole notion of how do you measure up. The environments that I've been in were highly competitive. So there were funds and people and experts that would mine data and industry reports to help us understand, how do we rank? Are we number 2 in gaining traction? Are we number 1 in losing? Are we number 4 in looking to make a secret move to jump to share points to get to where we need to go? But this is an important part. Does anyone have a competitor? Does anyone not have a competitor in what you do? And if you do, if that's true, God bless you. I want to partner with you.
I struggle with that, Pete,
Mhm.
because I kind of feel consultant. There's lots of consultants out there, but there's also an endless amount of problems. So I don't look at other consultants as competitors. I just look at them as a different type of complement.
Yeah, love it. I agree with you. I relate to that as well. But you know what my biggest competitor is? Indifference.
I was gonna say,
Sounds cool.
People not caring.
Intrinsic, yeah.
Other priorities. Competing for mind space,
Fair.
right? We all have them. So however well and deeply you understand your competitor or not, and also an invitation to say, to look deeper into that in a variety of ways. But that is important because there are people out there that are claiming to create value that you're creating, and either you truly are unique and you enjoy that advantage. If that's true, recognize it. Find that $20, $200 sitting in your pocket while you're doing laundry and claim it and spend it, right? And if you're not where you need to be, if you're you're kind of the same, that's important to know. And if you're disadvantaged, that ultimately is the invitation to say, let's make sure we include something in this disadvantaged category. The way your worksheet is set up, you'll have a chance to assess that. Matter of fact, let's get into that right now. So if you take a look at the bottom part of your self-assessment, you'll see a simple table. To the left are each of the categories or the subcategories of innovation that stem from the model, keeping it high level for now. I'm going to, in the next few slides, walk you through each one of those, describe what it is. I've got several examples of businesses that have demonstrated this in the past. For me, it's really helpful to tie it to a story or something real life that we can relate to, rather than just being an academic discussion. And as I'm speaking about that, and I'll pause before we go from one slide to the next, when you think about what you do you think, in comparison to your competitive set, the market, indifference, do you have a unique advantage? Something that you know specifically that makes you special and unique, right? Coors Beer said it was in the water. I was 18, I didn't care what the water tastes like, I just wanted a beer. Or is it similar? Or is it do you have a disadvantage for a reason that you're aware of? But then here's the last category. I'm not really sure. That's okay as well, right? Just to recognize it and call it out. So any questions about that? I'm breaking it down in really simple steps. All right, and then we're going to kind of summarize this, and before we go to the application, we're going to give you a chance to look at it at a higher level so you have a chance to do something about it. Okay, so the first category is configuration. So it's about innovation which is focused on an enterprise core product or service or a collection of its products or services. Right? Your organizations exist for certain reasons, right? Or you as a consultant solopreneur have said, this is what I'm hanging my shingle on because I care about these things. You may have said, I'm going to do this for a little while, but maybe change to something else. Because you're the boss, you get to decide what comes in and out of your portfolio. Want to do more of this, less of this, and you still have that option moving forward, but this is a choice, right? And organizations do change based upon opportunities, market pressures, etc. So within this are two very specific categories. Now, don't forget, underneath each one of these colored squares is a list of tactics. If you've looked at the handout there, you can see that there's a lot of tactics. If you look at these cards, product performance, they're all here. You'll have a chance to look at these when the time is right to see what's underneath the hood there. But broadly speaking, product performance is how you develop distinguishing features and functionality. Now, if that's a product, pretty clear. Turns on, turns off, saves power, goes fast. If it's a service, it's about the types of experiences that you're offering that make a difference for somebody who's receiving them. Okay, and same if you're a consultant. You've got tools in your toolbox. How well does that certification program you're offering to people that want to become project managers, how well does it help them earn their certification or do their job or get that next opportunity? An example is Dyson. Anyone have a Dyson in their house? They're amazing. They're amazing. It took 15 years for Dyson to develop that unique product performance vacuum. 15,000 prototypes. That's a lot of time, a lot of investor money. But when they did it, they launched in the UK. It took 22 months to dominate that market. And then they went global, right? Product system. So how can you create complementary products and services? This plus this plus this. My certification process plus my talent development plus my coaching services. This combination of things is what creates real value for the customers that I serve. Oscar Mayer's kind of brought me back to my roots. I mean, they're the hot dog company, right? Who doesn't love a hot dog, Oscar Mayer story from their past? Well, they came out with Lunchables. And so wait a minute, let's put the brownie in that really bad corn that you don't like to eat in your Lunchable kit. And then let's find a way to package our solutions to kids that are wanting to have a convenient lunch during school breaks. Okay, so how things are configured. All right, so spend a minute and just take a look at your, let's see, profit model, configuration. Did I do this right? I'm realizing my chart here is a little misleading, but please spend a minute and just reflect on your product performance and your product system. How would you rank that as being unique, similar, at a disadvantage, or not sure? Spend a minute and just put a check mark in one of those columns to put it in perspective. They're both there, they're just different colors. Apologize for that. Remember, not sure is a legitimate option. It's just an opportunity to think about this further. Okay? Offering. There's a lot here. So the offering is innovation that is focused on the innermost workings of an enterprise and its business system. It's the culmination of people, process, and resources that allows you to get that product or service out the door for an exchange of money that satisfies the sale, allows your organization to continue to grow. And profit model is a very rich area. There's 21 tactics that sit under this space, which is good because profit's pretty important, and there's a lot of different ways you can do it, but it's how you'll make money. The network is how you connect with others to create value, be it direct distribution, direct sale, distribution. You may choose to form relationships, you know, within your market to get your products out. Launch Fishers. I see Dave Bowling, the head of the shop back here. David, good morning. Welcome. You know, they're a strategic partner of mine. Part of the way I look to bring my services to the market is to do events like this so I can engage people in my community. They're part of my network strategy. Structure is how you organize and align your talent and assets. That could be org charts. It could be office locations in developing markets. And process is how you use your signature superior methods to do your work. A lot of opportunity it lies in here, whether it's process improvement, certifications, Lean Six Sigma, to be efficient and effective. One of the best examples that I've always enjoyed, and it's kind of timeless, so I still use it, is Southwest. Now, they're not new anymore, but at the time, a really competitive, airline's still competitive, but there are companies coming and going left and right. And Southwest innovated on an entire framework that was not really repeatable. Because the cool thing is, and you'll experience this, when you can take strawberry, vanilla, and chocolate as 3 innovative tactics, put them together, you've got now something that's really harder to emulate. And even if someone gets strawberry, vanilla, and chocolate, you probably already put it out in another flavor in there, or already outgrown something else, so you're 2 steps ahead of the game. So what did Southwest Airlines did? Well, they founded their service based upon one aircraft, a Boeing 737. That was the structure part of this. They focused on fast turnaround times, short windows of time for takeoff and departure to keep the planes up in the air. That's where they're making money. That's process. Their volume and frequency being a lower priced tiered option. They wanted to sell more tickets, which goes to profit. Their network distribution was they're about, you go from here to here. They don't have a hub. The hub is every airport that they're at, because they fly from Indianapolis to Jacksonville, Florida, and if that's where you want to go, you're just going to get there directly. So that's the network. The last one is customer experience. It's fun to fly. I can tell you Southwest stories that are interesting and funny to me, but I want to keep us focused, so let's keep going. Okay, so hopefully that example works. See how that all comes together? And you look back, there's examples of where this really works. Right now, the customer experience, lot under this. Service, how you support and amplify the value of your offerings. This is really rich and ripe. And honestly, if you look at the reasons why you win business, if you talk to your customers or people that give you satisfaction on the programming that you offer, you'll get glimpses as to what the opportunity is in here. It was back in the early 2000s, Hyundai, not new, but that's where people were all of a sudden this reduction in force was becoming a thing. And people were really hesitant in buying cars because they didn't trust the security of their job. Hyundai had a program. Within the first year, you bought your car, you lease it. If you lose your job, they'll take it back. That's pretty innovative, bold. Don't know how many people actually they did, but you probably the marketing lift they got for the few times which that had to pay out. An interesting strategy. The channel, how you deliver your offerings to your customers and users. Virtual versus hybrid is a big example post-COVID. Your brand, a lot under here. How you represent your offerings in your business. How you show up, your personality, your voice, how you deliver things that are unique to you. Trader Joe's is a great example. If anyone knows Trader Joe's, who hasn't bought a few $3 chucks just for a party on the weekend? They don't have competing brands on there. They just have that really cool brand at a good price that's high quality, and that's what it is, right? The brand is the destination. Going to Trader Joe's because we've got a party this weekend, we want to get a case of $3 chuck wine, right? That's the point. They differentiate it in the brand. Customer engagement, how you foster compelling interactions. Whether you're human, whether you're legal, whether you're compliance, whether you're experience-based or information, doesn't matter, but that customer engagement piece is very real. All right, so let me get you caught up. Please go back, I'll give you a couple minutes. As you've thought about these from what you know now, again, we're high level here, and this is not meant to be research, but how would you put a check mark in one of those categories to help guide you through? And when you've done that, just put a total. How many check marks do you have in which category at the bottom? All right. What's your highest? Just give me an example. If someone has a high number in one of those categories, what is it? What's your number and what category is it in?
600 unique advantage.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
That's great. And you're here to innovate.
That
Love
says
it.
We got 4 under disadvantage.
Oh, okay.
We got
All right.
some work
Okay.
to do in a few
But that's
areas.
cool. So you either know it's an advantage or a disadvantage. Not similar or not sure. Excellent. Who else?
I have 5 and similar is my highest.
Similar is your highest. Okay. All right. Not a bad place to be. You're not last in the pack. You're in the middle. You can grow from there. One more.
I'm 5 and 5, unique and similar.
Okay. How many had at least 1 or 2 not sures? Okay. Thank you for being honest with yourself. It's okay. It's totally okay. All right. Excellent. So hopefully, again, speed dating here. You've got a sense of the different categories. This is the eye chart, and I'm sorry it's not bigger, but I'm going to welcome you now to take a copy of the printout. And, I'm old enough to need glasses, and I realize how hard it can be to see. So, a couple different ways. Let me just explain this just a minute. I'm going to invite you in to start getting a sense of what this could look like. I see some people taking pictures of the chart, which is really smart. You can zoom in. I'm going to put the chart back up here. So this is the point where you're going to have 10 minutes, right? I want to keep an eye on time, to get up, walk around, stretch your feet. You've got the printouts on your table. I'll have it up here on the screen. You can even come up here. If there's a particular category that caught your attention, come up here and rifle through the cards. You'll see on the back of it the tactic, that's this one's process, and this is about predictive analytics. Just rifle through it. Pick out 1 or 2 that just catches your attention. Go back and read, take a picture of it maybe, or read the details of that 1 or 2 things. And with that in your mind, then you can head back to your table and build upon the idea that you've just inherited or been inspired by through this short exercise. Okay? Does that make sense? So before we do that, I want to ode to chocolate and peanut butter coming together. Who doesn't love a Reese's peanut butter cup? The point here is the real secret to innovation can be that one idea, right? I'm sorry, I forget your name. What was your name? Jenny? Jenna. There are 5 areas that you are unique. The best way to win a game is to play based upon a position of strength. So not that you have to do this, but you might think about what one of those 5 things is just so promising and so unique. We want to continue to build upon it. Everything can be improved, right? And then the other part is you may be able to find combinations of things. Companies that do innovation well have at least 2 to 3 different combined tactics that create something even more synergistic and incremental and better. Right? That might feel a little sophisticated or heavy for today, but I just throw that out there to say, you know, and we play a game. There's times that we did this back in that sweet story I shared you. We just picked out cards randomly. Each person had one random, and then we put them together and say, what would have happened if you two needed to make these things happen? What would that look like? It stimulates some pretty interesting combinations and potentially innovation because you're given permission to think in a very different way. Okay, so on the second page of your handout, this is where you'll do the work. And I'm going to give you at least 10 minutes. I'll walk around, I'll check in to make sure you're not stuck. And if I can offer any guidance in any way, I'd be happy to. At a minimum, just find that one thing that stands out to you based upon your initial ranking. Get it into one of the boxes in the chart. If that wasn't too hard, you want to go to 2, maybe 3 total, you're welcome to do that. Whether you read the card on the table, you walk up here to look at the details, you take a picture on your phone or on your chart, whatever you need to do, feel free to read or consider the tactics that really resonate. It's the name of the tactic that you're going to be putting in this box. Right? So for structure, if I say what I really care about, I'm treated as crowd research. I'm just picking that out. Crowd research is the name of the tactic you're putting in the box in this example. Okay, so go beyond the category level and drop it in there. And then once that's kind of the hard part. It's not really hard, but it is. Because then once you have those 1, 2, or 3 of those boxes filled out, then you want to get back in your chair, some quiet space, and begin to think about it. And just what comes to mind is all that matters. First impression, right? So what is my idea about what I can do around this? You have some sense because you said something, I should be looking at this. Most importantly, this goes into design thinking. Who we try to make a difference for? Is it an internal employee? Is it a shareholder? Is it a community civic member? Is it a sponsor? Is it my customer? Be really specific. What will it take to do this? Brainstorming is cool, and I'm a big fan of brainstorming, and there's a lot of laws that say don't be rational and practical when you're brainstorming. But in the sense of where we are today, you know, is this a really, really big idea that you got to approach carefully because it might involve some seed money or capital or, you know, another business loan? Or is it just something you can hire a contractor to do for 6 months to develop? Don't overthink it, but just get a sense, is it high complexity, moderate, or low? And then what does success look like? If you play this movie, you're just giving life to this idea. If you were to fast forward a year from now and people are benefiting from this, how would you describe that? Okay? I'm hoping you can at least get one tactic developed today. That'd be great. If you feel ambitious and you move through this quickly, if you get to the second one or the third one, game on. All the better for you. All right, what questions do you have for me or for me? We good? All right, let's get started. I'm going to power my laptop up so I don't shut down, and I'll bring us back. I'll check in, I'll walk around, and good luck. Looking forward to seeing what you come up with. All right, I'm sure nobody cured cancer in 9 minutes. Wouldn't that be nice, though? All right, so welcome back. I'm mindful of, I want to land the plane elegantly. So perhaps it was cool to see everyone's different approach to it. I love the diversity in the space and life because that's what you're here to do, is whatever degree this creates value, you're ready to lean into it. Some people got 3 boxes filled out quickly. Some people took notes in a different way. And that's great. But I hope you just, like when you begin to go walking outside again, when the weather's nice, you begin to build up capacity. And this is just that first simple step. So I'd like to spend some time just socializing and sharing a little bit what you just experienced. So I'm just gonna kind of outline a couple of things that you can speak to. If you like it, great. If there's something else that comes to mind, that's okay as well. But as time permits, at least 2, maybe 3, give us a sense, what was in your mind. Maybe restate your key challenge or opportunity that you're facing. What jumped out to you in your quick assessment, high level? What tactics were you drawn to? And then give us an example of how you ideated on that one particular tactic. All right, does that sound fair? All right, who'd like to go first? All right, I'm gonna offer the microphone just so we can hear you well, okay? Thanks, Jason.
Sure, thanks. Jason Bork, Pintail Solutions. Maybe I cheated a little bit, something that we initiated before today. But we're looking at, so we are a life science consulting company. We do fractional executive leadership and a lot of project program management, from clinical trials, preclinical work, healthcare informatics, stuff like that. One of our shortcomings is I think we're often viewed as a staffing company and not really a services, a product as a service company. So we're kind of redefining what sort of the Pintail way is and how we deliver. That way is ascend, assess, strategize, create, execute, normalize, scale, and document. So we're rebranding that. We're going to train our internal employees as well as hopefully improve overall delivery, at least consistency of delivery when we engage with clients, talk to clients, and deliver on behalf of clients. Who benefits? I think both we as well as the clients will. It's going to take time, kind of detail out the process quite a bit, as well as some marketing, branding, et cetera. Success, the process should drive client confidence. A lot of times they're like, oh, we want to work with you, but only if we can work with Valina again. Okay, well, Valina's busy. We do bring people on board and train them, and it's more than just an individual, and so that's what we're trying to improve upon.
Love it, Jason. Thank you. So having that customer experience, and I heard a little bit of brand in there as well. Good, good. Well done. Thank you. I wish you well on that journey. Thank you. All right. Nobody gets to go first anymore. Jason did that for us. Yes. Thanks, Tom.
Thank you. Tom Campy. I have a biotech company for animal health, and we have a compound for cats, an antiviral for cats to cure FIP. It's a 100% deadly unless they use a compound that's a human drug. And so we're competing against a human drug that's available in compounding. So our approach is it's around forced scarcity. All compounding pharmacies can get this GS441. It costs $1,000. We are the only manufacturer of this compound. We've already demonstrated safety and effectiveness. So it's a matter of getting it to one compounding pharmacy and help them understand that they will have the market then, because ours is only 10 days of therapy versus 84 days. It's oral, once a day, and the profit margins on this will be far higher, even though the price will be lower. So our strategy right now, and we just started implementing this, is we're talking to all the different compounding pharmacies and creating a scarcity that, you want exclusivity, sign first. Yeah. And that's kind of our approach. And then it benefits them, and it benefits obviously us because it drives revenue.
So Tom, you've got it all figured out.
Why? It's when somebody writes a first check, right?
Okay, all right. All right, but you showed up today to explore where you can drive innovation. What jumps out to you? Is it a validation that you're doing the right things?
It's two things. Yes, it's a validation. Does this make sense? And and maybe this is the key. Is there's so many here I can point to one and go, yeah,
good,
we're doing that.
Good.
And
yeah.
So it structuralizes it, if that's a word.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, wonderful, and thank you for that. I mean, I'm excited for you because it sounds like you're solving. And the problem you're trying to solve in the world is?
Well, most cats are euthanized because people can't afford that $1,000 medicine.
Yeah.
And so we're wrote down, we're saving lives.
Yeah.
Cats, but
yeah.
lives. Right?
And reducing human stress by the care and love for their pet affordably. That's meaningful. Yeah, love it. You know, so in this example, you know, again, this is a discipline. These charts are big enough to put up on your wall. Circle the ones you're doing well, cross out the ones that aren't relevant, and put a question mark next to something you're thinking about, because this is an innovative process. You think Ford Motor Company is not still innovating today? Yes, they are. So it's a lifelong journey. Wish you well. Yeah, who's next? Yeah, Susan.
So we actually got to present together in a conference lately. So when people think project management, they just think, oh, you're a project manager or you're getting someone certified. Well, I'm very niche. Like, this is project management offices. It hit me a while ago. We've been doing them wrong. Like, we suck at this. We give all these tools and templates and then people don't do it. It hit me one day. I'm like, we just need like 5 things. You don't need a lot. And then come to find out, like, I already had the class written. I took it out, repolished it. And it's when you talked about earlier your secret sauce. That's my secret sauce, was figuring out something I already had built, repurposing it, and it's a completely different thing that people need now. It didn't cost me a lot of money, and I can go to market with something so much smaller. So that's one I would recommend to everyone in here. What is something you already have that you could dust off and charge for what it's worth, not like what you were just saying, like, what was it? I wrote down your name, Jason, the particular person. What if it's not the per person hour, is what can you go in and deliver that is this, not, people just think of us as resources and hourly rates. Switching that mindset, come in, and I'm in and out 4 half-day classes. I mentor, I train them, and I'm out. And then people want to come in for 6 months to a year to set up what I'm doing. So figure out what your secret sauce is, because that's kind of changed how I do my business now.
Love it. Susan, while you're on the microphone,
Yes.
what new idea, what seed was planted today that you're curious about?
In this environment, my biggest challenge is how to get people to invest when they're a little scared of the world. So the seed is just coming back, and how do I go to different people, different markets, find a different way to network. I told him I laughed. The last 2 business opportunities I've gotten, one was on a Viking River cruise, and one was a few weeks ago on a BVI catamaran cruise. I'm like, I just need to go on vacations now and get my work. So.
Oh, relax, your brain can think.
Seriously, yes. So that's what helped us.
Way to go. Great, thank you.
Thank you.
So you got to write off those trips then,
I'm
right?
going to once I make the money.
All right, one more. Great, thank you,
You're a
Jenna.
business owner, you can
Mine's
tell.
kind of a follow-up to hers a little bit. It's similar, but more from a corporate perspective. So I work in customer education for our product, which is a local budgeting or local government budgeting software. So right now, a lot of our learning materials are very focused on features and how to use them and like how they work, whereas we have not really established helping our customer understand the process. And so our biggest competition is Excel. And they're masters at Excel. And so for us, it's trying to help them understand, hey, we can help you for the most part. I mean, it's not going to be exact, but we can get your processes in Excel into our system and create more collaboration, create more success down the road. But again, they don't understand the process. We just force the features in front of their face. So they're not understanding the language. They're not understanding how it all comes together. So for me, it's establishing a learning strategy and a learning path for our customers for every module that we have so that they're able to actually kind of go from an implementation phase by phase and understand the different pieces and how it all comes together.
Wonderful, wonderful. Wish you well on that journey, Jenna. There's so many comments I want to share here, but I'm not going to do it. But thank you, everyone, for leaning into this today. Hope you created some value for yourselves. Up here, QR code with my contact information. I love to connect. I love to offer what I say is free thinking. So if that's a quick 15-minute chat, cup of coffee, meeting up somewhere, and just share with you what I can offer from my ideas. Of course, I do these things for a living, so if you see opportunities of organizations that might benefit from this, whether it's yourself personally or others, I'd be delighted and honored to have a referral. But hopefully we'll see you again, and I've enjoyed this weather today. 64 degrees by 4 p.m., clear sky, so enjoy it. Have a great weekend, and I wish you all well.
Thank you.